Hi everyone, I'm here with my daily video, and this one is a little bit special, a bit of like a special request that I got from someone in the planner community. The special request was this, if I have it right. I took a screenshot of it, but I guess you could say I was kind of referred to like somebody within the planner community who is currently doing college studies and is just kind of feeling a little bit like they have a writer's block. They're trying to write some thesis papers, and they're just having some challenges kind of getting over some hurdles as it has to do with just kind of getting work accomplished. And so they kind of put a little bit of a, I guess, like a call for help out just kind of generally in the planner community. And so someone who I'm connected with on Instagram said, hey, maybe Andrea Royalty might be able to kind of give you some like different sorts of ideas about how you can kind of manage your situation trying to deal with writing this thesis, dealing with writer's block, and then also employing visual thinking and just kind of like planning as a part of kind of getting yourself unstuck, I guess you could say. So this is a planning video, but it's definitely geared towards like academic planning, visual thinking, having to write papers. I feel like it's hard for me to kind of like explain everything because I always do the little bit of like an intro to kind of give you a little bit of a preview, but I don't think that it's going to be material or just discussion or me showing you examples that are limited to if you're doing kind of collegiate level work. That I think that it could totally work for any level of just kind of like academic focus or pursuits. I think it just as well could work for like if you are already kind of in the workforce and you have like proposals and things that you have to do. I mean, it's geared towards productivity and writing and just kind of like thinking and trying to like get through all of that. So if you're unfamiliar with any of my previous videos, I have my master's in education, and I kind of have a specialization and just like special interest in the learning process and in creative thinking and visual thinking at that, and using planning tools in a little bit of like unconventional sorts of ways. So if any of this whatsoever is interesting to you, even if you're just like a working artist, like you are trying to write a book or dealing with, like I said, like proposals and things, then this video might be of special interest to you, because what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how to use planning tools, planner stickers, post-it notes, actual planner pages that you can go ahead and like you could buy them from Michael's with your 40% off coupon, but using planner inserts in a different sort of a way. So if any of this has piqued your interest or at least sparked your curiosity, then I invite you to stick around for the video so that I can show you maybe a little bit of some different ways to think about planning or planning tools and see how they can kind of do double and even triple duty. So let's go ahead and watch the video. So what I'm going to show you today is I'm going to show you a number of different things, like, let's see here, like post-it notes, all different kinds of post-it notes, planner stickers. I'm going to put together different planner inserts, and I'm going to show you just kind of like how, if I were dealing with this challenge of having to write a paper, a thesis statement, or even like a proposal, and I was having horrible kind of writer's block, or I was having real challenge with just organizing my thoughts and giving structure to something that otherwise was just kind of like a jumble. I'm going to show you how I would approach the challenge of just making sense of it all. And I'm likely going to offer you some creative problem-solving solutions, solutions-oriented sorts of approaches that maybe you've never considered before, but I just kind of credit that to the fact that I'm a working artist, working designer, and I have managed challenges with dyslexia and also ADHD for the most of my life, I think relatively successfully. And I've also, because I have struggled with that my whole life, and I've gone through to get my master's in education, and now I'm pursuing like a doctorate in education program. Because I have struggled with that myself, I I guess you could say, I don't want to say I've made it like my personal mission, but it's been something that's really close to my heart just dealing with, especially as it has to do with the fact that like I've worked with a lot of different students and their families and everything, and I like to help people, and I like to help people to see things from a different angle that maybe they haven't considered before, especially if it helps to kind of soften the edges and deal with things, make it more palatable, and make it something that like you can kind of like walk swiftly through, especially if it's been like a gauntlet you've had to deal with. So like I said, just forewarning, I'm gonna offer you all different ways to think about things, and some of them might be really, really abstract and hard to follow, but you can always come back and revisit this video anytime you want. You can leave me questions in the comments below, and please don't hesitate to do that. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I have here is I have an ARC notebook. This is Martha Stewart brand. This is like a Saffiano kind of leather cover. It's a letter size, and then this is disc bound. And I've been a disc bound user for a really, really long time, and part of the reason why I am a huge fan of disc bound is because of what I'm going to show you in this video. Disc bound things are incredibly modular, meaning you can put together different sizes of pages, different types of inserts, as long as they're disc bound. And that's something that you can't necessarily do with like a ring bound system, and I'll show you kind of why that is. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So what you're looking at here is you're looking at some very, very special inserts that I designed and kind of developed myself. These were originally weekly insert sorts of things, and what I did is I actually, let me see if I can find you kind of a more open page so that you can see what it looks like. I basically structured this so that visually it would give you like columns and kind of like open boxes of which you can do a little bit of like team vertical sort of organization of your writing and of information. Categorization, I guess you could say, almost like list making. Now, for my purposes, I did this to kind of do things like archive and categorize and just capture ideas. I call this idea vaulting. So I'm not gonna show you kind of all of these, but I just wanted to show you just some examples of how you can use kind of planner stickers and things and just like visual thinking to just kind of like write things out. So what these are, what you're looking at right here, is you are looking at two different lesson plan ideas, I guess you could say, of what it is that I would do in terms of doing homeschool planning ideas, like project ideas for my daughter, who is going to be in 3rd grade pretty soon. And what you can see, and here's like an open one, and I'll explain to you why I like to use page flags in this way. But what I like to do is I like to use die-cut object style stickers and layer them as a way to create a little bit of a picture to kind of guide me or just like seed or cultivate an idea and give it physical form. So the reason why, of course, I have like the passport planner sticker and then layered over top of it a little Happy Mail sort of an envelope is because the whole goal is to write a letter, so there's the letter, using collage. And you can see here that I use some kind of decorative ways to write the word collage so that the word itself looks like what it's trying to say, what it's trying to communicate and convey. I also put down here where these stickers originated from, almost like, what are they called? Oh goodness. Almost like reference information in case anyone ever asked me that question. So almost like parenthetical citations. I know that's really silly, but I like to be able to tell people where kind of I get things, so that's why I did that. But here's one right here that uses scrapbook stickers. These are from me and my big ideas. And just by looking at these kind of scrapbook and planner stickers, because some of these are from the Happy Planner, but what you can see is I have turned like labels and things. I've made the stickers kind of interact with one another. And what I would otherwise communicate by writing this down so that my daughter could read this, and so she develops visual literacy as much as she develops just kind of understanding of written language, is what I wanted to do for this is she was going to learn art and geography and visual communication and how all of those kind of connect. So we were going to actually paint our own kind of globe, like our own three-dimensional world model. Then she was going to write about it in her passport journal, which I've talked about before, and she's kind of like the kids' planner notebook. And then here, this era was going to be a little bit of like kind of the standards. This was going to tell her what her kind of deadline was. This was going to tell her these are things you need to remember. This was going to tell her just an extra word of note. And then here's just like a ruler. And this was going to be a little bit of a debrief. Those books stacked there with the telephone. This was going to be a step where it was a little bit of like a checks and balances where I was going to have her make a phone call to like someone that we know and explain what it is that she did in this whole activity. Because me as a teacher, I would be able to hear and do a little bit of like a follow-up assessment by hearing her explain to someone else for me to be able to understand if she got anything from it and what did she get from it. So there's another way to use planner stickers and labels and things as a way to kind of structure your process or just give form and structure to an issue that maybe you're having, like you're just having a hard time getting started or just remembering things. So there's another idea. So what I'm showing you here is part of the reason why I actually really like Discbound. What you're looking at right here is this is a me and my big ideas like extra large or just like the large, kind of the big kind of letter size planner page. And the thing about Discbound is you can use different size pages with Discbound all in one if you have just the paper punch. And they have all different sizes or just, I guess, levels of affordability of paper punches these days. You can get the Mombi brand one, use your 40% off coupon. You can get the Staples one, but I really like Arcbound because you can use, like, this is an old Mombi page that I simply just kind of relabeled with sticky notes and all sorts of things. And you see here, and this could simply be something called a graphic organizer, which is just a way to kind of visually organize writing or thoughts, like ideas. Like if you have, for example, you need to write a certain topic, you just relabel it up here. You can put even like a header label, a blank one, and write what your objective is or your topic. And then you could write all sorts of reasons in here. Or just evidence, I guess you could say. You could even turn this way if you want to. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do this. But I really like Discbound, specifically because you can use different size pages together. And something that I have found to be incredibly helpful is writing on one page and then having an extra page that's kind of across from it. Because I have the challenge of just being able to stay focused. So me being able to have a separate page to capture things, it can really help me to just stay focused because I just have something that's a little bit of a catch-all. Like if I'm working on something for work, drafts for designs, or I have to write a proposal, this might be my working page here, and I'm going to go through and explain kind of what all these elements are that are planner stickers and washi tape. But I might have a hard time focusing on this because I'm thinking about other things, like things I need to do around the house, things I want to do for homeschooling for my daughter, things that have to do with my husband. I mean, any number of things. So if you simply just have a notepad or just a sheet of paper just clipped into your notebook or your planner, that you can just have this be a little bit of just a place to capture floating sort of ideas or just distracting thoughts. That can be really helpful when you're trying to do things like deal with writer's block, because you can't accomplish what you're trying to do because you need something to just a catch-all for everything else. So there's one way to deal with it, and that's again why I really like Discbound. And using washi tape as a way to kind of convey a certain idea, like thinking about measurement, like learning objective or, you know, things like that. I like to also use washi tape for that reason. So I love to reuse planner pages, and I just think of them as just like graphic organizers, which is essentially what a planner page is. So let's look at this page. So this is actually a right size page of the Mombi Happy Planner extra large size. And this would be the weekend column that is shaded or just like tinted. And what I did is I set this up using this as a little bit of like a communicative sort of a encouragement to be like, be bold with what you're thinking, what you're about to do. I split this down the middle using washi tape here. But this is supposed to be a little bit of like a pros and a cons, or like a pros and a cons, okay? And the topic, let's say for example, the topic for this would be talking about mental illness, mental wellness, or mental balance, like maybe a psychology paper. So what I did is I would try and write down my thoughts and things in this and say, psychotropic medications. These are the pros over here. These are the cons. Positives, negatives. And I use this as sort of like an idea, you know, like red and green. Like green would be like go and red would be stop. You could think of it in reverse if you wanted to. Right here, that sticker that would normally be a sticker from the Mombi Happy Planner to signify the fact that you're going to go see a movie. The way that I'm thinking is like, in thinking about mental illness, mental balance, mental wellness, the pros and cons of taking psychotropic medications, like why they might be beneficial or why they might not be, thinking about like side effects and things. Thinking about mental illness, mental wellness, and the fact that how it's thought of in pop culture in movies, and how movies and pop culture has affected and strongly informed people's either informed or misinformed people's opinions and perspectives of mental illness, mental wellness, and how that kind of has hurt for advocacy, or just created a need for advocacy for those with like mental illness, mental wellness. And again, like the pros of what mental illness and mental wellness, how it's been depicted in movies, like it's helped to kind of raise awareness or like make people aware of the fact that that's maybe a determining factor with crimes or things like that, but at the same time, it's misinformed people. So you could even just write your own little boxes here, or put a planner sticker on there and just write kind of all of the reasoning that would go in this category. And then here, that little cleaning bottle that normally might mean like clean all the things, this could be like clean up, let's clean up our thoughts, or just let's clean up just the general sort of understanding of how we should be thinking about like mental illness and mental wellness, like thinking about it in this way, that's going in a positive direction. Thinking about it this way, that's going in a negative direction. So how can we kind of like clean up the way that we kind of do things? So, and this would be like if you were writing a paper, this is just the writing kind of thought process of things, and just thinking about 3 different categories, talking about mental illness, mental wellness, and then the pros and the cons, like compare and contrast, and just 3 different areas. So that's another way to kind of use planner stickers, just organizational elements, as a way to get your thoughts and ideas down in a visual capacity, and then you can translate this into typed, more formal, kind of a polished quality to present it as a written paper. Here's another thing that you can do. These are Mombi the Happy Planner, and again, like the reason why I like the disc bound is because you can use different size pages as long as you have that paper punch and just pop them right in the center. And these could again be kind of like positives and negatives of any sort of idea, like pros and cons list. Or even if you're having a hard time concentrating on, let's say for example, like writing a paper, so we'll say you're just gonna write it on the side or the side, it doesn't matter, and you're just having a hard time focusing, you can just pop a different size page in there in order for you to do some list making, to just like get out the distracting thoughts and put them on this page, and then you can pull this out and then have your draft here. So that's kind of another idea of a way to kind of deal with the last sort of thing that I kind of presented. So I'm going to pop these out. Okay. So here's another way to kind of draft up an idea in order to transfer it over here to maybe what your final might be, or just moving more towards rough draft. So I relabeled this and washi it up as a way to structure it visually to get some ideas down. And this is what I did. I used kind of vertical and horizontal sort of thinking. Again, I like relabeled it using a little bit of a encouraging sort of a sticker, like today's your day, and then write the date of like when you kind of work on this. Each of these here would be different topics of a certain paper or proposal or any sort of thing that you might be writing. This one right here is just a little bit of brainstorming, like you just getting your thoughts down. This one right here with the arrows that go in two different directions might be where you take what you've written here and then you revise it. You just kind of can read here and then make notes about what you wrote over here. This over here might be the metric column, like, okay, this is where we're kind of starting to pare things down, where we're starting to make things hit that objective. It's a measurable sort of an objective that you can kind of hit. And I just use these planner stickers as a way to convey certain things. Like, let's say, for example, here for this topic, what you wrote here, you want to add a quote in. So I just did a little quote bubble. This one has a little bit of like a checklist here. And these are all planner stickers and just washi tape that I'm using. But the whole idea is to give colorful and engaging and just form and structure to the thought process so that you can get ideas down and then physically move forward. What I have over here is I love full box stickers, and specifically the ones that look like notebook paper. And again, like I said, kind of in the last one, like little section, sometimes I just have a hard time staying focused because I'm thinking of all sorts of other things. So let's say, for example, you're doing the drafting process, or just like the brainstorming and then the drafting, shifting your ideas. And then while you're doing that, you are thinking of like the fact that, oh, I need to make sure that I remember to use this kind of font. So you can use this over here, these tiny little notebook full box stickers, to jot down different things that you need to remember once you get to the final kind of revision stage. And this down here with the little bow, this like divider, this could be like just tying up loose ends. So there's another way to think about writing things, using planning, visual thinking, planner stickers, as a way to just move yourself through the thought and writing process. And using colors and pictures to engage yourself, using physical objects that you pick up and move, like placing a sticker on a page, it's kind of gratifying and it's very engaging. Just those pictures can help jog your mind. Here's the last thing I'm going to show you. This again is one of those kind of catch-all sorts of things. Let's say, for example, you are having a really hard time writing over here, like keep going. So this would be a page that I would maybe write like my first draft on, okay? With some very encouraging sort of washi tape and even a sticker that says like, no journey is too great if you find what you seek. So just a little bit of a visual reminder, and nobody has to see this draft page but you, but that can help you to keep going and do what you need to do. And remember that like there's a great deal to be just gained in the journey for you to start writing your draft over here. And the draft can look like any number of things. You can draw it in pictures, like in clouds. You can use planner stickers. But again, you might need that catch-all because you're having a hard time focusing, because you just keep thinking, this stinks, I can't stand this. So you can write your, let's say for example, you're gonna do this over a course of like 2 weeks. Then you can say like, this is gonna be Monday's box, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then, or any number of days that you do, and then just write like your kind of stinky thoughts that you have, I guess you could say, or your negative thinking. Maybe you're thinking about your boyfriend, and you can use a little kind of planner sticker to signify them and just be like, I can't stop thinking about my relationship, or just my boyfriend, or, and then here's just like the playful stuff like, I wish I had donuts. Like sometimes just getting those thoughts out and just getting them out of your head, it's going to help you to keep going and write the way that you really are trying to write and not be so distracted. Let me show you some other ways just to kind of like keep going. So this might be like your first draft. Your second draft can be on a little bit of a page like this here. So this is like gold kind of washi tape, and again, I put an inspirational quote up there. So this could be like your second draft. And adding things like washi tape and just planner stickers and things and inspirational quotes, it's a great way to keep you going. It draws in crafting and just art and design that you otherwise can't engage in because you're stuck doing things like writing papers or proposals and things. And nobody needs to see this but you. This is all just like, you know, your notebook. And then this would be maybe like the last one, and I'm using this washi tape, almost like vines, like it's kind of like really taking off, it's just growing wild, okay, like your thoughts and just your process. And again, I put down more kind of inspirational stickers. See possibility everywhere. Shine like the whole universe is yours. And you could do this on every page if you want to. Use washi tape and use washi tape that's decorative, that just conveys an idea of like growth and wild growth at that. And use that as your inspiration, as a way to spark or seed or cultivate the working process, just kind of get the gears moving. If you like thinking about like steampunk style or just gears, then use something that looks like gears. If you're really into like organic living and you love, I don't know, camping or florals or things, then use flower or vine kind of washi tape. If your favorite color is purple, then use purple washi tape. Or if you just love inspirational quotes and things, then get yourself some washi samples or go to Michael's and use your 40% off coupon and use the word washi tape. Anything like this that you can do that's going to help you, that's going to like spur you in the direction that you want to go in. This is such a small thing and it's so gratifying. And if this is going to keep you going, then you know what? Don't hold yourself back from being able to go in the direction that you really, really want to in order for you to achieve what it is that you're ultimately trying to achieve. One final thing, I forgot about this. If you're like me, you might have a whole mess of Target, Dollar Spot, and otherwise like Post-it notes. I love Post-it notes, sticky notes so much. And sometimes what I like to do is, instead of me writing my thoughts and things directly on the page, is I will write them on sticky notes that I really, really enjoy. And then I'll place that on the page. And the reason why I might do that is because when I write my different kind of discussion or talking points on something that I can pick up and move, when I go to finalize the draft and try and type it, what I can do is, if I have a whole bunch of sticky notes on the page, I'll just pick this just because it matches a little bit more, and there's another reason why, and I'll tell you in just a minute. But if I have this on the page, I can write a certain discussion item here. I can write another one next to it. When I'm going to try and piece this together to make it a cohesive and comprehensive sort of a discussion, the editing process, this is almost like physical kind of copy and paste. Like, you can pick this up and move these things around as a way to just reorganize your thoughts and things and then type it. Another thing, in terms of symbology, the triangle shape, it means delta or change. And so what I always like to do is I like to save this as a way to visually communicate to myself, like, this is something with all these triangles, this needs to be changed. So I might actually put this on like design notes. And so as soon as I see this, I know like, change is good, this needs to be changed. This symbolically communicates to me, this is an item of change that I need to change in my design, or that I need to change just in drafts and things. Or other things like don't forget. I mean, that just physically just tells you like, don't forget, this is really important. Remember it, and it's black and white, so it's very eye-catching. This here is a numerical sort of a list of maybe just itemized things to remember. Sometimes I know I am just very strongly affected by color, so the color brown can have just a very grounding effect. So maybe if the colors are just too overwhelming, or if you just need to get rid of your thoughts and things, and you can just use kind of funny little die cut sticky notes like that and just be like, get your head in the clouds about eating buffalo wings, and then like right down here, and you can just physically write over and over, like, don't forget, you're supposed to be focusing on this. Get it on a sticky note, and then just like put it somewhere out of sight, out of mind, so that you can keep focusing on what you need to. So that's it. That's like the final point that I have. I really hope that you enjoyed the video today. I know that it was really outside of the box, and it kind of maybe illuminated planner supplies or just like office supplies in a whole different way that maybe you've never considered thinking of them, like kind of in that sort of a way. But the thing that I always appreciate about office supplies or just like planning tools is that what they do is they allow you to take intangible sorts of ideas and things, your thoughts, or even your feelings, your emotions. And what planning does is it gives structure and it gives physical form to things that otherwise might not have that sort of thing. So even if things are just swirling around in your mind, like you're thinking about the weekend, or you're thinking about a certain kind of creative idea that you have, whether it would be like a craft sort of an idea, or just think about vacation plans, the great thing about planning is it gives a tangible quality, something that you can pick up, that you can hold, and that you can even move around. You can make it modular in order to just better deal with it. Because anytime something is formless, anytime something is simply just like thought or just emotion, it's hard to deal with that. It's hard to deal with things that are intangible. So the thing that I always have loved about planning, really enjoyed about planning project management, is that planning gives structure and it gives form. It gives like kind of physical weight to something that otherwise doesn't have that. And anytime you give physical form, you give structure to something that otherwise is formless, it automatically becomes easier to manage, to handle, to deal with, to move around, to just understand and like pick up and hold, and just, it just makes it easier to deal with overall. So, I know that, like I said, I presented a lot of unique ideas or perspectives about things, especially it has to do with like the writing process or the learning process, but I hope that this was helpful to you, and I do want to kind of continue doing a little bit more of this sort of planning or thinking, or just presenting kind of like planning or just understanding or just development, cultivating thought, or helping to aid in productivity, especially as it has to do with like creative sort of ventures. And that's kind of why I did this video, because I had this a little bit on my list anyway. And it's some unique ideas. But when someone the other day kind of reached out to me, or just kind of like nudged me a little bit and said, hey, this might be something that Andrea Royalty, who does videos about planning stuff because she's like a planner nerd, like she might be able to help you, that I'm a teacher and I love to help people and I love to enable people in positive ways and I love to inspire people. So it's kind of why I like bump this up kind of on the priority list. School's getting ready to start. There's a lot of people that are in the midst of maybe career changes and things, or just trying to figure out what they want to do. So that's why I did this video today, and I hope it was enjoyable to you, however strange, weird, odd, out of the box it might have been. So if you have any questions whatsoever about what I presented here in this video, I'm glad to try and address them as best as I can and give you like the best response that I can. I never ever am going to think of myself as an expert. I'm just kind of endlessly curious, is how I always think about it. I am really, really into creative problem solving, and as with anything that's ever presented just in my life, of my life, or other people's life, when it comes to trying to figure things out, I always think about things as just like a big giant puzzle that maybe you don't have the big picture to kind of guide you. And what it comes down to is everything can be connectable, everything can be linked, everything can be given structure in order to afford you greater understanding, and just deeper thought, and I guess more solid sort of ground, like foundation for you to just like to understand it better, for you to grasp it to just a greater and a deeper kind of degree. So that's my spiel. That's my spiel for this video. I hope this was helpful for you. And like I said, I'm going to try and keep doing videos kind of in this vein. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe, because I do a daily video, and as you can see, sometimes it's by special request, if there's enough of like kind of an outcry or just like a strong kind of urgency for it. So So that's it for this video. Thank you so very much for giving me all of your time today, because I know it was really, really long and also really hard to follow at times. So I so appreciate just your time, your attention, your effort, and your support of my channel. Thank you so very much, and I will see you tomorrow in the daily video. So I'll see you then. Bye!